I always thought I was such an amazing wife in my first marriage. I mean, truly, I was amazing because I never argued. I just kind of buried things that were bothering me. I thought that was pretty noble. You know what? It was a recipe for disaster. My tendency to avoid conflict was a recipe for disaster in my marriage. And if you are an avoider like me, it could be that you're heading in the wrong direction as well. You might think this might end well, but usually it doesn't. You know, there's a very interesting bit of Bible advice in Hebrews 12:15. It says, "Don't let any bitter root grow up among you to cause trouble and defile many." And that's what happens when we don't address a concern we have with our husband, something that's really bothering us. When we don't really address that, you know what happens? It's like a bitter seed is planted in our heart, and it just starts to grow and grow and grow and blossom and bloom until a couple of years later you wake up one day and say, I can't stand this person. I despise this person, and I'm getting rid of him. I'm getting free of this person because your heart has just been consumed with resentment and bitterness. All because you are a conflict avoider. All because you avoided any kind of arguing, any kind of disagreement. You refuse to address the concerns in your marriage. Now, I'm certainly not advocating that you're going to start arguing all the time and become the quarrelsome wife that is described in many places in Proverbs as being like a dripping on a rainy day. Yeah, we don't want to be a quarrelsome wife, but we do need to respectfully, lovingly, and diligently address issues of concern with our husbands so that we don't let that bitter root start to grow in our hearts. You know, I grew up in an environment that was very, very argumentative. I mean, it was actually verbally abusive, lots of yelling, lots of rage. And so it's natural that I would want to avoid anything that might even possibly lead to tension and arguing, because I just want to avoid that like the plague because of my upbringing, because of my background. And you, if you're a conflict avoider, it might be the same case for you, where you just don't want to go near anything that could possibly create any tension. But I'm telling you, pray for God to give you courage and strength to address those concerns in your marriage, concerns you might have with your husband. If you don't address these concerns lovingly and respectfully, but if you don't address these concerns, your heart will end up growing very, very bitter, and that's not good for you, your marriage, or even your children. So take care of it.